Playing Mouse PI for hire feels like returning to my childhood, not because I ever dreamed of being a detective or a mouse. Let's clear that up right away. But because of the vibe. See, when I was a kid, I used to watch old Disney cartoons like DuckTales and even older Disney animations on a Soviet-made TV my parents had from early 1980s. And before you say anything, yeah, I'm 90s kid, which now apparently qualifies me for a museum exhibit. Oh god, I'm old. Anyway, color TVs did exist back then. We weren't living in a cave. But my dad was committed to that TV, like it was part of the family. He'd go, "Nothing wrong with TV, it runs good. I pay a lot of money for it back in 1984. And honestly, fair enough. If you spend that much money in the 80s, you expect that thing to outlive you. But here's the funny part. About a month after declaring that eternal loyalty to the glorious grayscale brick, he replaced it with a massive Panasonic color TV. Just like that. No ceremony, no goodbye. The old one probably didn't even see it coming. One day you're showing DuckTales in black and white, next day you're retired like a Cold War spy. And I don't even know how I remember that so clearly. I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but this? Crystal clear. So yeah, I'm playing Mouse PI for hire for that one. This game isn't just a shooter. It's apparently a memory recovery device. Forget the therapy, just hand me a Tommy gun and a cartoon mouse. Anyway, this is Mouse PI for hire. A game that looks like it crawled straight out of 1930s animation reel. Got lost in time and somehow picked up a shotgun along the way. It's got that rubber hose animation style, jazz dripping from every corner, and enough noir attitude to make a trench coat feel underdressed. You're a private investigator. You're a mouse. And judging by the way things start, you're about to have a very bad day. Which is exactly how every good detective story begins. Right off the bat, the art style does all the heavy lifting, and I mean that in the best way possible. Everything is black and white, but not in a we couldn't afford color way. More like we choose violence and vintage animation. The characters bounce and stretch like they escaped from the 1930s cartoon studio. And every frame feels like it should come with a projector clicking sound in the background. Honestly, if this game had film grain any stronger, it would legally qualify as archival footage. At its core, Mouse PI for hire is a first-person shooter, but not the kind where you're hyper-trained super soldier saving the world. No, here you are detective mouse solving problems the old-fashioned way. Shoot first, ask questions never. Gunplay feels punchy, chaotic, and just a little bit unhinged, which fits perfectly with the cartoon chaos happening on screen. Enemies don't just go down, they perform. Every hit feels like slapstick comedy with lethal consequences. It's like someone took classic animation physics and said, what if we add crime? Also, can we talk about how every no detective sounds like they haven't slept since the Great Depression?
An address book. Steve had
I haven't slept in 3 days. The city's dirty. My coffee's colder than my ex's heart. Meanwhile, I skip one night of sleep and I'm googling, can you die for a mild inconvenience? The world is dripping with noir cliches. In a good way. Dark alleys, shady characters, morally questionable decisions. It's all here. If someone in this game doesn't betray you at some point, I'd honestly be suspicious. You walk into a room and expect someone to monologue about regret and cigarettes.
Maybe.
Alright, fine.
Don't mind if I do.
The jazz soundtrack deserves its own shootout. It doesn't just sit in the background, it follows you. Like suspicious saxophone player hiding behind every corner. You're in a gunfight, bullets flying everywhere, and there's just this smooth jazz going. Yeah, this is fine, totally normal Tuesday. It somehow makes the gunfight classy, like you're committing crime, but politely. The whole game feels like it was made in a time when problems were solved with a firm handshake or a Tommy gun. Mostly the Tommy gun. Let's talk about pros. Unique, standout art style that actually feels fresh. Fun, chaotic gunplay that fits the cartoon vibe. Strong atmosphere with consistent noir tone. Jazz soundtrack that elevates everything. And of course you can't go with pros without cons. So in the cons, I would put, if you're not into stylized shooters, this might not click. Gameplay that might not match the originality of the visuals. You may develop an unhealthy desire to narrate your own life in noir voice. Most BI for Hire isn't just another indie shooter trying to stand out. It actually does. It leans hard into its identity and commits fully, and that alone makes it memorable. It's weird, it's stylish, a little goofy, and that's exactly why it works. It reminds me of that old TV I grew up with. Outdated on paper, but full of character. Except this time, I'm not trading it in for a color version. Prepare to solve crimes, the only way Cartoon Mouse knows how, with excessive firepower and questionable decision making. Because in this city, being small doesn't mean you can't make a big mess. And on that note, back to my boomer shooter. See you next one. Rums out!